Hey folks, now for the second weekend in a row, the Sunday afternoon birthday party scheduled for my mom had been canceled. So I was able to make another Saturday afternoon trip down to the Lone Star Creek Ranch. Now that ground blind that I constructed last weekend, well, it really needed some work here. So with some help from Porky, I made some improvements. This brush I'm piling up here is actually black brush, and black brush has the sharpest and most numerous thorns of any plant or tree in the world. And man, I mean, you can't hardly even touch this stuff without bleeding. The only good thing about this stuff here is that it sticks to itself like Velcro. Now, Porky really wasn't much help at all here. You know, he just kind of followed me around and occasionally seemed to be wondering, now why are y'all wanting to kill all my relatives? Now, I very politely asked Porky if he would be so kind as to go stand under that feeder so I could check my camera. But I'd also asked him not to be a camera hog, but you know, he just couldn't resist waving at the camera here. So with everything set, I went back to camp and put about 10 pounds of food in Porky's bowl. I grabbed my gear and I snuck out the back door. Now I was going to say something here, but I screwed up the camera work so bad that I thought I better try it again. But as I panned around the second time, there was this doe standing right there, looking right at the blind. I didn't even have my mask on yet. I could tell she wasn't looking at me, but she had seen that camera moving and she didn't know what to think of that. Well, eventually she was certain that something wasn't right, and as she ran off, she let everybody out there know about it too.
Okay, I'm in. Feeder just went off, so it's a little after 6:30 here. Got in here about 5:30 today, a little sooner than the other day. Golly, I was just trying to set up this little panoramic thing to give you an idea of what I'm looking at here, and I didn't even see that doe standing over there. Anyway, she knows we're here, and they all know we're here now. But anyway, I could hear some hogs back in there too. She was kind of looking back over there. I could hear them. They're not very far away. Got about an hour's worth of light left here, so I'm going to stick it out. Let's see what happens.
Now, it sure didn't take long for this mature doe and her two fawns to come in for a little snack. Now, I've hunted here for 6 seasons, and I think the deer numbers are low, so I've never harvested a doe here, and I don't intend to harvest one this year either. Now, like all whitetails, these deer kept a sharp eye out for predators, raising their heads every few seconds to have a look around, to smell the air, and to listen with those big old ears. The deer out here are very nervous around bobcats and coyotes, but they will especially run when they see hogs coming their way. Now they definitely see something here that's making them nervous. Well, I was hoping it was hogs, but I quickly discovered that the source of their fear was these two coyotes you see just off to the left here. Now, the rest of the afternoon went without a sighting of any kind here, but for me this has still been a very exciting hunt. Now, the next morning I woke up to rain, and out of concern for my camera, I canceled my morning hunt. But before I went home for the day, I wanted to have a look at my stock tanks. Well, I found that my new tank, which was built last November, had filled up for the first time ever. And I found that my old tank had filled to the brim as well. Man, I love having all this water, and water is indeed the most important resource on planet Earth. Well, folks, all good things must end, and it was time for me to head back home. But again, I sure want to thank y'all for tuning in.